Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः ओम श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम। ओम पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्कपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। ओम। So, namaste once again, everyone.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste. So, we are in the 22nd shloka. So, we will chant. All of you can unmute. Vedanam Samavedosmi
Vedanam Samavedosmi
Vedosmi
Devanam Vasavah
Devanam
Devanamasti
Vasavaha
Vasanaha
Indriyanam Manaschasmi
Indriyanam
Indriyanama
Manasmi
Manaschasmi
Bhutanam Chetana.
Bhutanam Chetana.
Bhutanam
Very good. So, after indicating to Arjuna that he will not be enumerating an exhaustive list of his glories because they are endless, Krishna says that he will only list out some of the prominent glories. And he starts narrating the glories from verse number 20, where in the first line, he outlined his Nirguna glory as the self residing in the heart of all beings as consciousness. And then from the second line onwards, he started listing out his Saguna glories as the beginning, middle, and end of all beings. That is Srishti, Sthiti, and Laya Karta of the universe. Then in verse 21, he said, I am Vishnuhu among the Adityas. I am the radiant sun among the luminaries. I am Marichihi among the Maruts. And I am the moon among the luminaries of the night. Then in the next verse 23, We were discussing 22 or 23. No, I will lost count.
22.
22, which we were discussing in the last class. He starts by saying that among the 4 Vedas, he is Samaveda. And we also saw the reason why Krishna chooses Samaveda as his prominent glory. Even though, all the Vedas are by themselves glories of Bhagavan only. We cannot actually separate, oh, this Veda is better, that Veda is better. But since he has to choose one, and we saw the reason why Samaveda is glorious. And the next glory he pointed out was Devanam Vasavaha Asmi. That among all the devatas or deities, among those exalted jivas, he was Indra Devata. And that is his glory. And why Indra Devata? Because Indra is the controller of all the devatas. Even though he got the Indra post because of the Punya Karma he did as a human being, he can continue to be Indra, occupying the position of Indra until the Punyam is exhausted. But till such time, he is the superior most among all the devatas. And therefore Krishna says, I am Indra Devata, who is the controller of all devatas. Then he says, Indriyanam Manaha Asmi. Among all the sense organs, I am the mind. And why Krishna claims that he is the mind? Because every sense organ is capable of functioning only in a particular field. Eye can function only in the field of forms and colors. The ears can function only in the field of sounds. Nose can function only in the field of smell. Whereas the mind is the organ which is beyond all the sense organs, and therefore mind is capable of functioning in all the fields. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa and Gandha. And therefore mind is superior to all the sense organs. And therefore Krishna says, I am the mind among all the sense organs. And so if you want to invoke the Lord in any one of your sense organs, mind is an ideal symbol. And that is why, in Taittiriya Upanishad and in other Upanishads also, mind meditation is very prevalent. So you visualize your mind and learn to see the mind itself as the greatest manifestation of the Lord. The more you think of the capacity of the mind, the more we have to wonder at the glory of the Lord. And therefore Krishna says, I am mind in everyone. Indriyanam manahat asmi. Then he says, Bhutanam chetana asmi. In every living being, I am in the form of very life, the very sentiency, and which is the most mysterious thing in the creation. How this sentiency comes, scientists of all types have tried to find out what exactly life is and what exactly death is. In fact, none of them have been able to understand these two, even though they claim to understand all the rest. That is a different story. But then, when you take a life, what more is there than these two? Life and death, isn't it? And what is life, what is death, we don't know exactly. It's a big mystery rather. This mysterious life the life is a mystery because of which every living being exists. And especially, life exists in the minutest of the prani. I mean, it's really a great wonder. There are insects which are of the size of a dot of a pencil. You take a paper, put a dot with a pencil, sharp, pencil. That size, that dot size insects are there. And we can see sometimes, suppose, we are reading a book or even working on a laptop or something like that. We can actually see these tiny insects, micro tiny moving object across the screen or across the page of the book. In fact, if we just say who, blow it, it may even die. We don't know. And imagine, that insect has also got a digestive system, organs to sense danger. And we don't know, probably a reproductive system also. Such are the wonders of Bhagavan. I mean, you take the case of flowers, the texture of which these flowers are made of. We can never replicate that texture. We can come close to it, in terms of artificial, all these, leaves and flowers and all we get in the market. Many of them look almost real, but they are not real. So like that, if you go on observing the nature, observing each and every prani, and the beauty is each and every living being serves a purpose. That is the beauty. The purpose of most of the things we may not know, but there is a purpose for each and every living being. So tiny sentient beings moving around. And when we look at all these things, and you start seeing Bhagavan in those tiny creatures, will you ever think of harming them or, creating any trouble for them? Because we can easily kill that insect. But can we create even one unicellular organism? We can't. And that mysterious life is the manifestation of the Lord. And that is why, for us, ahimsa is paramo dharma. Our aim is not to destroy life. And that is why we also prescribe vegetarianism. Because in vegetarianism, the destruction of life is minimum. So we have to avoid himsa, or at least reduce it to the minimum if it is inevitable. And as we have, discussed earlier, when you are taking plucking the vegetable from the plants are not destroyed or killed. You pluck some vegetable today, tomorrow again some more vegetables will grow. And therefore, the injury is minimum. And in fact, there are some rishis who do not even want to practice that. So what they will do is, they will not pluck the vegetables from the plants. They will go around and see which are all vegetables have fallen down on the ground. They will pick them and eat that. Actually, some time ago, I know one of the students asked this question, whether plucking vegetables and fruits are not a form of himsa. At that time, I gave an answer from a Laukika angle. that Bhagavan created them for our consumption only, and therefore there is no himsa. So now we have to understand the logic as to why ahimsa is advocated. It is because himsa causes pain to another living being. And that is why we say that in order to avoid causing pain to another living being, practice ahimsa. But suppose if himsa does not cause pain, then even if it is an act which can be termed as violent, it will not be himsa. That is why, in surgeries, they administer anesthesia so that the pain is not caused. Of course, even otherwise, surgery does not fall within the definition of himsa, because the purpose of surgery is to save life and not to cause pain. And there is a more relevant shastric basis to that. In fact, in the Shastra, for meditation purposes, the constituents of the creation are visualized as situated in the various parts of our body. For example, if you take this Rudram Dhyana Slokas, it says, Agnirme Vache Shritaha, means what? Agni Devata is situated in my speech. That's why, we have this term fiery speech. When he was speaking, what they say, he was literally throwing out fire, or some such expression they say, So, Agnirme Vachis,
Spitting fire.
spitting fire or something like that. Yeah.
Spitting fire.
Sorry, spitting? So, Shastra recognizes that Agni Devata is situated in the speech. Then Vayur me prane shritaha. Vayu Devata is situated in my Pancha Pranas. And this is all for meditation, dhyana sloka, and you are actually visualizing each of those devatas in your own body, everything, because the whole cosmos comes together in your body. And it goes on describing. Suryo me chakshushi shritaha, the Surya Devata situated in my eyes. Then it comes to Prithvi, the earth. It says Prithvi me sharire shrita. The earth is situated in my whole body, all made of this Prithvi Tattvam only. Then a very significant meditation comes. Oshadi vanaspatayo me loma susrita. So loma means hair in the body. And we can include the hair in the head also. So lomasu means all hairs. And it says Oshadi and Vanaspatayaha, herbs and plants, are situated in my hair. Now, if you actually sit back and think, what is the unique quality of hair as compared to any other part of the body? Of course, excepting the finger and toenails. When we cut any other part of the body, it pains. But when we cut the hair, there is no pain. Similarly, nails also. When we cut the nails, there is no pain. Oh, is it because they are inert? No, they are very much sentient. Every time you cut them, they will keep growing. but cutting them causes no pain. And therefore, if you inflict a cut in any other part of the body of another person or any living being, it will be himsa, as it will cause pain and you will earn papa. But you cut someone's hair, there will be no pain, no papa. And that is why, the barbers and all, they don't earn any papam, even though day in and day out, they are cutting a part of our body only, which is the hair part. And therefore, like there is no pain when the hair is cut, similarly, plucking vegetables and fruits or even cutting the branches of the plants and trees cause them no pain. Therefore, it is not himsa. Of course, it has to be done without destroying them or uprooting them. Therefore, if you cut the hair, it is not himsa. But suppose if you pluck the hair from the roots, it is himsa because it causes pain. So there also subtle difference we have to notice. When you just cut it, there is no himsa, but when you pluck it, take it from the roots, there will be pain, that is himsa. So these are all very subtle points which need to understand. And that is why when comparing the herbs and plants to our hair, the Shastras are saying that when you are plucking the fruits, flowers, when you are plucking the leaves, without destroying the plant, there is no pain caused. And therefore it is not himsa. So we have to understand all these things from a Shastric angle also. So now let us come back to the shloka. Why do we value life? Because Krishna says, I am the very life in every living being. And that is one of my prominent glories. So Bhutanam Chetana Asmi, Chidabhasaha Aham Asmi. Once you understand that, you will start viewing every living being as Bhagavan only, isn't it? And whatever respect, reverence we give to Bhagavan, we will start giving to every human being. These are all very, intense, life-changing ideas which Bhagavan Krishna is giving in this. All our problems are most of the problems because of raga, dvesha, especially with other beings. I don't like this, I don't like that, this person I don't like, that person I like, and all. Anyway, we'll go to the next sloka. Rudranam Shankaraschasmi
Rudranam
Rudranam
Shankarasmi
Shankarasmi
Vittesho Yaksha Rakshasam
Vittesho
Sho yaksha
Yaksha
rakshasah
Vasunam Pavakaschasmi
Vasunam
pavakashasmi
Pavakashasmi
Merushikarinamaham.
meru
Meru
maham
Shikaranamaham.
So the Anvaya is Cha Shankaraha Asmi Rudranam Vitta Ishaha Asmi Yaksharakshasam Cha Pavakaha Asmi Vasunam Cha Aham Meruhu Asmi Shikarinam. So Krishna is continuing. So we started the Anvaya with a Cha. Cha means and. Shankaraha Asmi, I am Shankaraha, Rudrana, among the Rudras. Vitta Ishaha Asmi, I am Vittesha. Vittesha is another name for Kubera. Yaksha Rakshasam, among the Yakshas and Rakshasas. Rakshasas rather. Cha Pavakaha Asmi, I am the Agni. Vasunam, among the Vasus. Cha Aham Meruhu Asmi, and I am the Meru. Shikarinam, among the peaked mountains. So I am Shankara among the Rudras. I am Kubera among the Yakshas and Rakshasas. I am Agni among the Vasus, and I am Meru among the peaked mountains. So earlier, this Dwadasha Adityas have been mentioned. We saw that sloka. And that is why in Surya Namaskara also, they do have 12 Namaskaras. Mitraye Namaha, Ravaye Namaha, Suryaye Namaha, then Bhanu, Khaga, Pusha, Hiranyagarbha, Maricha, Aditya, Savitra, Arka, Bhaskarebhyo Namaha, all Namo Namaha we say. So these 12 Namaskaras is what Surya Namaskara is all about. And there is in yoga, there is a particular asana for each one of them. So the Dwadasha Adityas are worshipped every day. And now Krishna comes to Ekadasha Rudras. But remember, we talked about 33 Devatas. 12 Adityas, 11 Rudras. And this comes 12 Aditya, 11 Rudra comes to how much? 23. Then Ashtavasus,
31.
31. Then what were the other two? Anybody remembers? Okay. Go back to your notes. I'm not going to prompt. So, but 33 Devatas we mentioned, correct?
Yes, yes, yes.
So, 11 Rudras are enumerated in the scriptures. And that is why, we have also got the Rudra Ekadashini. 11 times chanting of Rudra is done. So they invoke the Ekadasha Rudra in 11 pots actually. When you do this Rudra Ekadashi, in 11 pots they invoke the 11 Rudras. But among those Rudras also, among those 11 Rudras also, the most prominent one is Shankaraha Asmi. He says, I am Shankaraha. So they enumerate all the names, Nila Lohita, etc., in each one of the pots. So 10 pots are kept around and one pot is kept in the middle. And that is how the puja is done. Especially if you have seen in go to the temples and all, on Shivaratri day, when they are chanting the Mahanyasam, before the Abhishekam starts, Rudrabhishekam starts, this puja is done for these 11 pots. And Krishna says, among them I am Shankaraha. And why Shankaraha? Because from the very meaning of the word Shankaraha, we will know. Shankaraha means what? The most auspicious one. Sham Mangalam Karoti iti Shankaraha. And we have a Shanti mantra also starting from Shanno Mitrach Samvarunaha. Isn't it? Some of you, of course, we have not chanted that Shanti mantra in this class. But those who have learned Shanti mantra will know this. There is one very, very beautiful Shanti mantra. They all Sham, Sham, Sham. So Sham means Mangalam. And therefore, Shankara means Mangalakarta. Mangalakarta Rudraha Aham Asmi. Now, what is the meaning of Mangalam? Mangalam means what? Ananda. And that is why the very word Rudraha means the one who removes sorrow. Rud, the dhatu, verbal root Rud means dukkha, sorrow. So Rud dukkham dravyati iti Rudraha. Because in some houses, always someone or the other will be crying. And that is why, our elders used to say, we must not even make children cry. We must not cry, of course, but we must not make anybody cry. That is amangalam. And that is why earlier days, at least in Smarta families, they used to do every day morning at least one round of Parayanam of Rudra Parayanam takes place. Puja does every day morning, Panchayatana Puja does, and that is what Abhishekam, Rudra also is there. So once you are doing that, the crying goes away, grief goes away. It's all belief. And therefore, Rudra is called Dukkha Nashakaha. And through that, he brings Ananda. And therefore, Krishna says, I am Shankaraha. Then, Vitta Ishaha Asmi, Yaksha Rakshasam. Another group of devatas are called Yaksha and Rakshasa. You must have heard, these celestial devatas, Yaksha, Kinnara, Gandharva, etc. In fact, they are very. There is a text called Amara Kosha. There is a beautiful sloka. Vidyadharaha apsaraha yaksha rakshasaha gandharvaha kinnaraha pishachaha guhyakaha siddhaha bhutaha ami devayonayaha. So in this sloka, they say there are various types of devatas, citizens of the heavenly world. And in the last class, I had said that we will refer to them as gods with a lower g, capital lowercase g, small g. But while preparing the notes, I felt that a better name would be demigods. So we have got gods and demigods. Because, see, small g, capital G and all, while writing it is okay. But while talking, every time you have to say, oh, God with small g, God with big G and all. So instead, we will stick to definition God and demigod. So the devatas are all demigods. Then there will be no confusion. So now in these demigods, there are so many varieties. And among those varieties, he says, Aham Vitteshaha, Kuberaha. Kubera is the one who presides over wealth. And all of us would have, heard the name of Kubera because Ravana defeated Kubera and then drove him away and took over all this. That all the wealth of Ravana is said to be Kubera's wealth, which he actually, took away. In fact, Swami Paramatananda says, of course, I have not been to Badrinath. He says he has been there, he has taken students also. In Badrinath, there is a place for Kubera. And there is a belief that if you keep a coin in the Kubera's hand and then keep that coin in your house, in the safe in your house, it will multiply. And therefore,
Swamiji explained this very beautifully.
yeah, he
Somebody
explained very beautifully. He said, I didn't first know what it was. People said you keep one coin. Then they told me all this. He said, I'm a sannyasi. What I'm going to do with all this wealth and all that?
No,
He very, very,
they
that's
wanted
the,
Swamiji to keep it there and bring it back to them.
yes, I'll bring it back to them. Anyhow, so there is this, so he actually explains very beautifully, as Ramuji said. So this Kubera is there. And Swamiji says, when you talk of Badrinath, most people will first remember Kubera, then only Badrinarayan will come into their mind. So, as I said, even I did not know this, but I learned it from Swami Paramatananda's talks only rather. So, Kubera is that important. And therefore, Krishna says, I am Vittanam Ishaha, Vitteshaha, the Lord of wealth. And of course, who does not want wealth, isn't it? So you worship Krishna, meditate on Krishna in the form of wealth, his consort Lakshmi, you will be very wealthy. All materialistic desires will be fulfilled. Artha Kama will be taken care of. So Kubera is very important. Then he says, Vasunam Pavakaha Asmi. So as I said, the next important group of devatas are or demigods. Ashtavasavaha. 8 Vasus. And these Vasus are presiding over the 8 directions. We have got, east, west, north, south, then southeast, then what is that? Between, southeast, then southwest, then northwest, then northeast. 8 directions. So Krishna says, I am Agni Devata among the 8 Vasus.
They had another two also, Dasha Disha, upper and lower.
Dasha Disha, that is a different version. But this is a part of the 33. The count of 33. Because all these numbers in the scriptures, there are different versions rather. So you can say because up and down also is taken as dishas, right? Urdhvam and Adho Disha. But normally when we are doing a homa, these 8 dishas are marked across the homa kunda. And then of course we also offer an oblation for Urdhvam and Adho Disha also rather. So Pavakaha means Agni. And Agni is called Pavakaha because it is the greatest purifier. Punati or Pavayati iti Pavakaha. And in relative sense also, if you want to purify anything, it has to be heated, including food. In fact, gold purification is done only through heating it in continuously, one round, second round, third. That ore is subject to fire. And then the whatever comes out of it, again it is purified through fire only. And even in our food, in water, if you want to purify, remove all the impurities in water, what will you do? Boil the water. That is why we advocate drinking boiled water so that the heat will kill all harmful content and make the water pure and potable. And we also know surgeons,
In Bombay, I never used to drink water from outside. I used to drink tea only from the railway stations. At least it will boil.
Yeah.
And sometimes the experience of the scorching, tongue and throat.
Yeah. That is true. Very true. Of course, these days they have got other RO, this and all that, But cheapest, best is heating, boiled water, safe. So, surgeons I was mentioning, when they want to perform surgery, all their that subtle instruments and all, how they purify it? They purify it by heating them on a flame only. And even when we have to dispose of a dead body, the best way to dispose of a dead body is cremation. Because fire is the best method of purification. And suppose your, clothes are there, say winter clothes, like, woolens and all. In people who have lived in North India and all will know. Well, the woolens would be inside the whole of summer, they will be inside the trunks. It would have gathered some small insects and, bugs and all. So what we normally used to do, when winter starts, we'll take out all those woolen clothes and put them out in the hot sun. And you should do it before the full winter starts, because then sun will also go away. When you do that, that heat of the sun purifies those clothes also. So even Laukika Drishtiya also, Agni is the purifier.
In Kashmir, the ladies especially have a pot of fire inside the belly. As a practice to keep to ward away the heat. To ward away the cold.
So from the Shastric angle also, Agni is supposed to be the purifier of the mind. And that is why we worship Agni. And therefore Krishna says, I am the fire principle. And the Rig Veda itself, it begins with what? Agni me ele purohitam. So the Rig Veda itself starts with the word Agni only. So Agni is very important for us. And even in our houses, we are supposed to start our day with what? Lighting of the lamp.
The mantra is also there. Agnene Supatarayi. Vishwani Vishwan Vaihani Vidwan.
So I said, I supposed to start our day with lighting of the lamp. I said supposed because I don't know nowadays how many families follow this tradition. Whenever the question comes of lighting the lamp at home every day, I have seen people, they first think of expense on oil. And usually we are supposed to light the lamp with the till oil, the sesame oil or ghee. But now in the market, many contaminated oils are also available called puja oil and lamp oil and so many things, which of course are comparatively cheaper. And there is a positive side, at least, with that, many families are lighting the lamps without worrying about the cost. But then at the back of it, there's a thought that, we are offering an impure oil to pure Bhagawad. Of course, we can take solace in the fact that once the lamp is lit, the Agni will purify that oil also.
There was a post last month or so, how because of the puja oil and all this contaminated oil, and you give to the temples, and also when the pujari sit inside in the Garbhagriha and this oil is burning, and that too not one light, so many lights and all, it creates a chest problem, and they get into asthma and all these things.
Because they are all extracts of from the crude oil only they make, I'm told. I don't know fully well. And that's why, in our Gurukulam, on these special occasions and all, people will bring oil and all. If it is all puja oil, they will be discarded. It will not be used for Bhagavan. Only pure till oil we used to use. So the idea behind lighting the lamps inside the house is that the sun, which is celestial light, which represents the Lord, is invoked in the flame. and I keep the flame in my house, and therefore the flame is worship, Agni is worship, and therefore Krishna says, I am Agni Tattvam. Then he says, Shikarinam aham meruhu asmi. So among the mountains with peaks, peaked mountains, I am the Meru Parvatam. And this Meru Parvatam is described in the Puranas. In fact, not only in Puranas, even Vedas also, there is a mention of Meru. But then what has happened is, people have got different opinions regarding this Meru mountain, Meru Parvatam. Some people say the Himalayas are called Meru in the scriptures. Then there are some others who say, no, Himalayas are not Meru. In the North Pole, there is a mountain. And that is Meru Parvatam. Because when they describe the Meru in the scriptures, they say that the sun goes around that Parvatam. It does a Pratakshina, rather, of that Parvatam. That is the description in the scriptures. So on that basis, they say, if you take the North Pole mountain, sun will be going around that in a particular period of the year. And that is why in places like Norway, you do not have sunrise and sunset for 2-3 months. I think from November to January or something. That is called polar night. Because of the tilt of this Earth's axis, it appears that the sun is going around the North Pole, and therefore no light falls on that region. And therefore they say this polar mountain is Meruhu. And there are some people who say, no, all these are all wrong. Meru is not any visible mountain. It is some invisible mountain belonging to the heavens. And as I said, it's in the Meru Pradakshinam is supposed to be a pilgrimage prescribed in our scriptures. And again, Swami Paramahanandaji in his talks, he says, there is one priest from Tamil Nadu who considers this Meru is the North Pole mountain. And therefore, he went all the way to the North Pole, He undertook a pilgrimage to the North Pole. And it seems he has written a nice book. And it also seems that he had actually gone without any special dress, woolens and all that. Just wearing the regular, Panchakacham and Angavastram. So he went to Norway, Denmark area. He went around the polar mountain area. And it seems he has described his experiences. The book is in Tamil. It's said to be well written, describing the people, the government, and all those who made arrangements for him and provided the facilities to him to undertake this pilgrimage around that Meru. And of course, he believes it, and he has done it rather. So according to that priest, Meru is that mountain in that polar region. And Meru Pradakshinam is supposed to be a pilgrimage. So of course, among all these differences of opinion, where is Meru? If it is asked, we can say we don't know. What is translation of Meru? We can say Meru should be translated only as Meruhu, not Himalayas or some, North Pole mountain, etc. So let us just say there is a mountain called Meruhu among the peaked mountains. And Krishna says, I am that glorious Meruhu mountain. And of course, even if we do not know what exactly is Meruhu, as I said, this is only some prominent ones Krishna is pointing out. So if you say, I want to meditate on a mountain peak, you can meditate upon any mountain peak. Meditate upon the Himalayan peak, Mount Everest, or the peak of Kanchenjunga. So many peaks are there, peaked mountains are there. You can visualize the Meru Parvatam in those mountains and you can meditate. No harm in that, because everything is all Ishvara Swarupam only. Then the next sloka. Purodasam cha mukyam mam.
Purodasam cha
Mukyam
mukyam
Together. Purodasam cha mukyam mam.
Purodasam cha
Purodasam
Mukyam Mam.
Vidhi partha brihaspatim.
Vidhi
Vidhi
Brihaspatim.
Senani namaham skandah.
Senānīnāmaham skandhah.
Sarasamasmi sagarah.
Sarasāmasmāsagarah.
So Anvaya is, Hey Partha, Vidhi Mam Brihaspatim Mukyam Purodasam Aham Skandah Senaninam Cha Asmi Sagarah Sarasam. Next set of glories. Hey Partha, O Arjuna, Vidhi Mam, know me, Brihaspatim, to be the Brihaspati, Mukyam, the foremost, Purodasam, among the priests. Aham Skandah, I am Skanda, Senaninam, among the commanders of the army. Cha Asmi Sagarah, and I am the ocean, Sarasam, among the reservoirs. So, O Arjuna, know me to be Brihaspati, the foremost among the priests. I am Skanda among the commanders of the army, and I am the ocean among the reservoirs. So, three more glories. Hey Partha, O Arjuna, Mam Vidhi, may you know me. Know me as what? Purodasam, among the Purohitas, the Vedic priests who officiate in rituals. Mukyam, the foremost. And who is that? Brihaspati. So there are two kinds of Purohitas. One type of Purohitas are the celestial Purohitas, and also earthly Purohitas who come to our houses. And among the celestial Purohitas in the heavenly world, Krishna says, I am Brihaspati, who helped Indra and the Devatas. And therefore, it's not only one, Brihaspati is only main one. There are so many other Purohits in the heaven rather. So, Deva Purohiteshu Madhye, I am the main one, who is Indrasya Purohita, who is called Brihaspati. In fact, the word Purodaha itself, means one who is kept in front as a guide. Puraha datte Purodaha. The one who is placed in front, one who is seated in front and who guides me when I do rituals is called a Purohita. So I am Brihaspati among all the celestial priests. And all these are all based on scriptures, Shastras. Then he says, I am Skandaha Senaninam. Senaninam means among the army commanders. So Krishna is covering all the areas, not leaving any field. If you are an army man, you need an army personality for Upasana, isn't it? So Krishna covers that also. He says, okay, if you want to do Upasana, meditation on an army personality, I am giving you Skanda. And according to the scriptures, Skanda is the commander-in-chief of the army of gods. It's also called Devasenapati. There is a song also, Devasenapati, Carnatic music song. And so for Devasena, the leader is Skanda. And Skanda is the name of Subramanya or Muruga, as is well known in south, Kartikeya in the north. And he is also known as Devasenapati, the commander of the heavenly celestial armies. And the meaning of the word Skanda is also very interesting one. The word Skanda means the one who flowed out, who emerged out of Lord Shiva's third eye to destroy some Rakshasas who had extraordinary strength. So Lord Shiva had to create a special avatara, and out of that Lord's Shakti, the power, Skanda means to flow, to emerge out, to originate. This Skanda, he flowed out of the third eye of Lord Shiva, so he is called Skanda. And the third eye represents what? Jnanam. And that is why we say Subramanya is Jnana Subramanya, Jnana Skanda. In fact, the very word Subramanya, if you split, what is it? Su-Brahman. So, Shuddha Brahman, that is Subramanya. So many ways we can understand the word Subramanya. And he is commander of the army. The army is for what purpose? Destroying all our enemies, means our internal enemies, all our impurities, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Madamatsarya, all our Raga, Dveshas, all these enemies can be destroyed by the Skanda, who is Jnana Subramanya, by Jnanam of that Brahman. So we can give philosophical meanings also to this word based on the Puranas and also Upanishads. So he is the best commander-in-chief. So Aham Skandaha Asmi. Then he says Sarasam Sagaraha Asmi. Sarasam means among the reservoirs of waters, Among all of them, I am Sagaraha, the ocean, which is worth worshipping. So you can meditate upon me as the ocean, or ocean as me also. And in the Puranas, there is a big story, and many of the verses in this portion are based upon this particular story. So we will often refer to that story here. Whenever we talk about Sagara and all that, that story we have to recall. Because, these stories, the main purpose of these stories is what? Again, recalling the various avatars of Bhagavan, various manifestations of Bhagavan, so that even when we are hearing a story, we can visualize that Bhagavan is power, his glory. And of course, it's a little long story. I will not go through the whole thing. I will just give you a gist of the story. And it is a popular story also. And I hope everybody will like that story. In fact, this story, it occurs in several Puranas. It occurs in Ramayana also. It seems that Rama and Lakshmana were taken by Vishwamitra to his ashram on foot. He narrated many stories. So that the two young boys, they were very young age when he was taken to Vishwamitra's ashram. They would not feel the pain in the legs. And one of the stories that Vishwamitra tells is Gangavataranam, the arrival of Ganga from heavens to earth. That is called Gangavataranam. Avataranam means coming down. And as I said, this story occurs in several Puranas. Of course, with slight variations are there. What is that story? We will start the next class with that story. I will leave it as suspense as of now. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.
Dhanyawad.
Everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank
Hari
you.
Om,
Thank you.
Namaskaram. Thank you, Guruji.
Like,
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you.
so like these serials, you have kept that suspense for next.
Time is over. So that is okay.
Thank you very much. Very
Hari
nice.
Om. Hari
Thank
Om.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Ramuji.
Regarding the Lakshmi Puja and Kubera Puja and all that things, Diwali time I had posted something in the Swami Paramatmananda's thing. Today morning also I posted something from transcribing Swami Paramatmananda's Taittiriya Bhashya. In the fourth Anuvaga, he talks about Sriyam Gami and all these things. There he talks about Aavignidhi, Homa and all.
Yeah.
So that I wrote a comment all that in the Paramatmananda's post today morning. Why we should not, why Kubera should not be worshipped
Okay.
and all this thing, puja and all that I put up. Anyone can watch that in that thing.
Okay.
I'll send the link tomorrow if you want.
Okay. I
Okay.
think I saw that post. I didn't read it, but in Facebook you have put, isn't it?
Facebook I put today morning.
Yeah, yeah. So
I
I think I saw the post, but because since I was busy with something else, I said
Yeah, it was a very big one, but I
reserved it for a later time.
I posted it only. I make a comment before that, correctly marking from what Swamiji's words are and my words are there. So I
Okay.
made that. So that is there.
When I get time, I'll go through it.
Yeah, thank you, Ji.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
Hari Om. Hari Om. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Any other question, comment, doubt? Illava? No hands are gone up. So let us close the session and continue next week. Okay. Hari Om. Thank you all very much.
Hari Om. Hari Om.